The MV Explorer, a Liberian-registered cruise ship, held a unique distinction. She was the first of her kind, a vessel crafted specifically to navigate the treacherous, ice-laden waters of the Antarctic Ocean. Her maiden voyage through the Northwest Passage in 1984, a daring 43-day expedition sponsored by the pioneering adventure company Lindblad, had cemented her place in maritime history. She was a ship of firsts, also becoming the first to circumnavigate James Ross Island in 1998, and claiming the record that same year for navigating the furthest up the Amazon River, reaching a point 80 miles beyond Iquitos, Peru, where the Marañón and Ucayali rivers converge. In the austral spring of 2007, the Explorer embarked on another ambitious journey, a 19-day cruise dubbed the Spirit of Shackleton. Organized by GAP, the voyage aimed to retrace the path of the legendary 20th century explorer, Ernest Shackleton, across the notoriously tempestuous Drake Passage. After visiting the Falkland Islands in South Georgia, the ship found itself in the Bransfield Strait on November 23, 2007, surrounded by the stark beauty of the Southern Ocean, near King George Island and the South Shetland Islands. It was here, amidst this icy wilderness, that fate intervened. The Explorer collided with an iceberg. It wasn't a dramatic crash, but a subtle, almost insidious encounter. Some passengers recalled a loud bang, others a mere shudder, indistinguishable from the usual crunch of ice under the hull. What they didn't know was that the iceberg had inflicted a critical wound, a gash that stretched at least 3.6 meters along the hull, between cabins 308 and 314, with probable punctures and lacerations along the hull plating. As the icy water began to flood in, some reports suggest that the ship drifted onto another iceberg on its starboard side, while the crew assessed the damage from the initial impact, also on the starboard side. At 4:24 a.m., the ship sent out a distress signal. A rescue operation, a model of international cooperation, was swiftly coordinated. Peter Berman in Sweden contacted the Argentine Naval Prefecture and the Chilean Navy Search and Rescue Center. Chile dispatched the icebreaker Almirante Oscar VL and nearby commercial vessels, including the MN Ushuaia, National Geographic Endeavour, and the Norwegian coastal express ship MS Nord-Norge, also responded. Captain Hayes described the evacuation as calm and orderly. The ship's pumps worked valiantly, buying precious time. All 91 passengers, 9 guides, and 54 crew members, representing over 14 nations, boarded the Explorer's lifeboats. They bobbed in the frigid waters for 5 hours before the MS Nord-Norge arrived, plucking them from the sea. The rescued were taken to the Chilean Frei Montalva station on King George Island, and then airlifted to Punta Arenas, Chile, by Chilean Air Force C-130 Hercules transport planes in 2 separate flights. About 70 others were ferried to Uruguay's Artigas base. Meanwhile, the Explorer's battle with the sea was nearing its end. By 7 p.m., 20 hours after the initial impact, she succumbed, slipping beneath the waves. Chilean aerial photographs captured the ship's final moments. A stark white superstructure and red hull listing heavily against a backdrop of gray, churning seas and an overcast sky. The Explorer, which once aided in the 1989 rescue of an Argentine supply vessel stranded near Anvers Island, was now itself a casualty of the Antarctic. It was a vessel designed with watertight compartments, meant to survive a single breach, but multiple breaches or faulty seals between compartments, as was possibly the case here, compromised its integrity. In the aftermath, experts were baffled. The Explorer was considered ideal for ice navigation. The official explanation for the sinking, they said, didn't add up. There were missing pieces to the puzzle. The Liberian Bureau of Maritime Affairs investigated the incident. Their report, released in April 2009, pointed to Captain Bengt Women's decision to enter an ice field as the primary cause. The report suggested the 49-year-old captain, experienced in Baltic waters, but not in the unique ice conditions of the Antarctic, had misjudged the ice, believing it to be first-year ice when it was, in fact, much harder land ice, as indicated in a Chilean Navy report. Passengers reported seeing red paint on the passing ice less than 30 minutes before the sinking was reported, another indication that the ship was navigating through dense and hard ice. The report also criticized GAP for not retrieving the ship's voyage data recorder and highlighted that some GAP staff, acting as crew members, lacked the necessary safety training and seafarer documentation. However, the report also commended the actions of the captain and crew in organizing the evacuation, acknowledging that their efforts likely saved many lives. The story of the explorer's last voyage remains a chilling reminder of the unpredictable power of nature and the importance of experience and vigilance when navigating the world's most challenging waters.